Hi, everyone. I just wanted to make sure that people can hear me. Yay! All right, so that's a good thing. So welcome, and I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedules to join us. Just reminding everyone that we are recording this and it will be posted on the blog next week. I have a couple items on my agenda, not very much, and then as always, we'll turn it over to you guys and you can ask any questions. So just a reminder that we need the MIS account requests to be sent by a supervisor or a program manager. A staff person cannot request their own account to be created or edited. And we also need the name of the staff person, the email address of the staff person, and the level of permission that they will need for the role. Next thing on my agenda is if the MIS username is linked to the worker record, then the MIS account will be automatically deactivated when the term date is submitted. Okay, and the way that you see that is on the first tab of the worker form. If it's not linked, then of course, or if they don't have a worker record, then of course you have to send us a ticket and we can deactivate you. The last thing I have on my agenda is about reports. So most of our reports now have report documentation, and this documentation is meant to explain how the data is being pulled into the report. So please look it over before sending in a ticket, or include the report documentation in your ticket as a way to explain your data issue. So that's all I have. Does anyone have anything they'd like to discuss or any questions?
I see Nora with her hand up.
Hi, Nora.
Hi. I have a quick question. I was looking at the service plan in-depth discussion report, and I ran it for our program. And there were cases from 2020 popping up on that report. And I remember when the reports were combined, there was like a defined cohort of as of like this date, 2021, these cases are included in this report. So I was just curious.
Yeah, well, we can look into that because it should be
Okay.
3/15/2021.
Okay. So
And it
because I was
could
like,
have, there could be a problem there. So yeah, sure, we can look into that.
okay, that was my only question. Thank you.
Melissa has a quick question too.
Hi, thank you.
Hi.
Yes, so we've had quite a few illnesses, our staff, our families. I'm wondering, we're scheduled for reflective supervision this Thursday with one of my staff, and I'm presuming that she's going to be out, but I also don't really want to get dinged for, she's not going to be out all week. She just left today. Is there a way to avoid, is there anything I could do to avoid being dinged for an illness when we can't get together for reflective? And I guess another question I have, if one of the ladies want to change their date for supervision, is it a bad idea to do that? Should we just, I'm not sure how to handle that situation, because if Thursdays aren't working for her, if I switch it to Wednesday and I change it on the form, supervision form, is that fine at any time to do? And how can I avoid getting marked for not having supervision if we have to do it a day after or a day before the scheduled date?
Melissa, remind me,
go
have
ahead.
you gone through Supervisor Core already?
Quite some time ago, April, yeah.
Oh, okay, because
Should I
you might
refer?
remember you had the MIS presentation there on how the MIS counts these supervisions. So you might want to check it again. But of course, you can change the day of supervision. And of course, you have to take, like you have 6 days as of the day of supervision. So today is Tuesday. And if today is your day and your person is out, you have until next Monday to complete it. So you could do it next Monday when she's
Okay,
back.
that helps. Yeah, I wasn't sure because when I did run a report after I reviewed some of my notes from training, and then I ran a report and it said supervision held less than a week.
Okay, so that is, like that is the way that you have to understand how this report is working. And sometimes by the end of when it's measuring, the report states it's less than a week, so it can't count that week. But I would suggest that you go over that PowerPoint once again. Remember, always it's not 100%, so you're not going to get dinged. You have a wiggle room there. You do not have to do 100% of supervisions, but you need 75%. So it's great that you're looking into and finding the ways to do it. Check that MIS PowerPoint, which is also on the website. So you can check it out there too if anybody needs a refresher. It's on there. And
Healthy
yeah.
Families New York people,
Yes.
for Healthy Families New York people.
Mhm.
Melissa, I just have one more thing to add to that. Yes, as Corinne said, you can change the date, like the day of supervision. However, it could bring up dings on the report because like if your date is a Thursday and you change it like to a Tuesday, you could be missing a lot in the past. We've said this before, that it's usually smart to put everybody's scheduled day on a Monday, because then you have 5 days, 5 days to get the supervision. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I don't think that that's a good idea, Corey, because, like not everybody, Mondays is a very busy day and you don't want to put everybody on supervision for a Monday. So, we usually suggest that you use the date that you're doing it according to, how you see your staff needs it. And remember that you have the 6 days after that.
I don't mean to contradict you, because of course, we want to make sure that everybody has their schedules. If you place the supervision day from the worker form on a Monday, you can actually schedule any day throughout the week. This way, on the reports, for the report purposes, you have the full week. So if they're out on Monday, Tuesday, you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to still do that supervision. Remember, you have to do the supervision after the scheduled date and not before, because the before will count on the previous week's supervision. So for instance, your example, Melissa, your person is scheduled on Thursday. If you were to do it on Wednesday, it wouldn't count towards that supervision. It would count towards the previous week's supervision.
That's exactly what happened, Corey, and I was confused about that. That's what the example you just gave is what happened, and I noticed it didn't work out for me. So I'll take that advice and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Anybody else have a question?
We are in the process of interviewing for an FSS FRS position here at Healthy Family Chautauqua. In the meantime, we have another staff going out on maternity. I may inherit some of the families from her caseload. I'm assuming that there may be some trainings. I haven't worked directly with the families yet. I've been only in the supervisory role. Can anybody advise me on any trainings that I will need to make sure that I take before I start working with the families themselves, so I can transfer them over temporarily until our staff comes back? Do I need to do a PhD Q9, any trainings anybody can think of that I need to make sure that are on my list before I dive in? Besides
I'm-
besides the cores that I've already taken, and maybe I
You
think I
might-
took hits.
We can't really advise on that, Melissa. I'm sorry, but you might want to reach out to Buchanan and ask them what you need as a requirement to work with the families. We can tell you how to enter the trainings. We just can't tell you what trainings to take.
Sure, I understand. I should have known that. Yeah, I will do
Oh,
that.
no,
Thank you.
no, that's okay.
Melissa, just as a piece of advice, and I'm still new, but it works for me. So I don't know if it's just a suggestion. Any training that your staff takes, no matter which role they're in, as a program manager or supervisor, you should take them. The reason being is that this way, no matter what happens, you're able to step in at any point in time. That would be the advice that I would give. It's the advice that I follow for myself, but it would be the advice that I would give to you as a program manager.
Okay, that makes sense, Kara. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm okay, but I'm not sure if I'm missing anything because I haven't worked with any families directly yet. This is kind of a unique situation, so I just want to make sure that I'm ready to go and do that. Thank you. Good advice again.
I think my advice would be that if you get the opportunity to go out and meet the families and shadow whoever you're taking over for prior to her leaving, will give you the opportunity to not only meet the families, but see what they like to do, how they like to learn. Maybe they're receptive to curriculum, maybe they're not, you know, just, and then you're not walking in kind of blindsided almost of like, how they might be not necessarily confrontational, but maybe when they're agitated, they're a little bit more, you know, over the top, or maybe if they're having a bad day, they're not interested, they'll just sit there, you know, kind of that type of thing. I think that has worked really well for our agency, bringing new people out and people that are going to take over, because then your families are also getting, you know, the opportunity to meet who's going to be coming into their home.
Carly and Joe have suggested to review your policy on TR, the temporarily reassigned, change forms for guidance. And if you complete any of the tools with the family, ASQ, PHQ, CCI, you should be trained before doing those. And Carly adds curriculum training.
I have a question as it relates to, I have new hires that are starting, and some of them have not, do not meet all of the requirements for like say infant and child development, right? They're not coming in with that skill set. We're supposed to develop a development plan for them. In the MIS system, what would we list any webinar that they take or any trainings that they take as it relates to that? Would we list it as other in MIS and of course fill out the form, or is there something else that we need to do? Was that
again, Kara? Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, was my question clear?
Yeah, it's clear. However, again, we can't advise you what to enter. We can advise how to enter. And I know that you're kind of asking how, but we don't really have detailed information on the trainings and what training is required. And so, and also I think that we kind of frown on the other because the training reports as it relates to the BPSs and the performance indicators, I don't know if it would pick that up unless you use the correct code. So again, I feel like you need to contact Buchanan and ask them what particular or specific trainings need to be done to meet the requirements.
Oh, okay, because my understanding is that all of your staff is going to go through the required trainings, regardless to whatever's on that sheet, they're all going to do. So, but I'm thinking the development plan is additional things outside of those that we would need to do. And if so, if they are additional, there would not be a code in the system for it. The only other code that I see would be other, because all the other trainings that you all have there is a code for it in the system that we can check off. That's why I'm asking.
Well, I mean, if it's not going to affect the BPSs or your performance indicators, then of course, use other and just type in what the additional training is.
Might be a good idea to do that, Kara, because then in the person's training resume, you would have the exact training that they took with the name and the description of it.
Thank you. So that's good. So that means that even if we put it in as what I'm understanding you saying is that even any training that we put in it as other will show up on the training resume.
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Just waiting just in case somebody has something to add. Okay, if just one last chance for anybody else who has any questions. I guess my last thing is the next MIS discussion will be on January 16th at 11 a.m. and an invitation will be sent to everyone as the date gets closer. I hope to see everyone there. And my last thing, unless anybody who has just recently joined have any questions, my last thing is just to wish everyone a very happy, relaxing holiday. And I hope you celebrate everything you've achieved this year because in my opinion, you guys just rock and you're awesome. And let's just all have a great 2024.